Nothing in this recording is intended as investment advice, and the people in this recording may hold positions in the companies they talk about. Do not make any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to Zak's Traders Cafe. Today I'm joined by Douglas Grant, who is Group CEO at Manx Financial. How are you today, Douglas?
Very well, Zak, and how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm celebrating your authorization in the insurance space, which I'm sure you are as well. Maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah, no, it's good news. Back in January, we bought an IFA business in the UK called Cam Wealth. We wanted a lightly used license, one with no legacy, so we could vary the permissions to accept general insurance, which is the one that's just come through. And now we can look at selling general insurance product we've got something like 1 million unique customers through one of our subsidiaries, Payment Assist, which is in the buy now pay later space, and it's probably the largest buy now pay later operator in the automotive industry. And it also has over 7,000 garages, and as you know, every garage needs public liability insurance, employee liability insurance, contents insurance, building insurance, vehicle insurance, shareholder insurance. So if we can package all those insurances up into one and put some premium finance in there to spread the payments to make it easier for the garage to afford the payment, then we're taking some of that admin and headache away from garages and allow them to focus on what they really should be focusing on, which is customer throughput. So yeah, no, it's really good news. It's good for the group.
I mean, obviously, insurance is not something that hardly anyone likes, and it is a crowded space as well. Is there any special angle that Manx will have in this space?
Well, those 1 million customers I spoke about, those are warm customers. Those are customers that have had a positive experience with us. So therefore, they're more, I mean, you're right, nobody loves paying for insurance, but everybody needs insurance. So those warm customers will actually, in theory, be more likely to turn to us for that solution than to go to somebody who they don't really know.
There's also, I mean, apart from that news on Thursday, there was news on Wednesday from your company as well, which also looked rather exciting in terms of increasing shareholder value.
Yeah, I mean, that was Payment Assist. Payment Assist entered into 5 new contracts in the first 6 of the months, and we announced them, as you say, last Wednesday. Those contracts will generate an increase in advances. I mean, Payment Assist last year lent over 180 million, and this year will do 225 million, something like that. So these new contracts are just incremental opportunities to advance, and they've got some big names in there. I mean, the customer base within Payment Assist is a bit of a who's who when you look at the likes of Toyota, Halfords, etc., who are big customers of that company.
And in terms of Manx as a whole, I mean, in June, there was a very decent update, final accounts for the year ending December, and profit before tax up 41%. You're a 32 million pound company, and I don't know of any the financial companies I know are all in the hundreds of millions and billions. Are you sort of at the foothills of what you can achieve?
Yeah, I mean, you're quite right. I mean, we're at 32 billion, but we're small. Our earnings last year were 10 million. So 32 million was small. Our earnings last year at 10 million. I mean, 3 times earnings of trading at that. That's a handicap of being in a small cap business. But our market, if I maybe go back slightly, Zak, because we haven't spoken about the business model. The business model at Manx is it's very transparent. There's no transformation in here at all. What we basically do is take retail deposits, and we have banking licenses in the Isle of Man and in the UK. So we use that liquidity and deploy into basically SME markets that we like in the UK. These are markets that have proven resilient through COVID, Brexit, etc. So that market space is something like 15.7 billion in the UK. But the space isn't overly crowded because there's 350 licensed banks in the UK, but there's over 3,000 non-bank lenders. So these are businesses that get their liquidity from high net worths or from one of those 350 banks. That's where we deploy our liquidity into these businesses which operate in markets, which have got the right characteristics that we like in terms of defensive, yield, stickiness of customer base, etc. So yeah, well, the foothills is a good expression to use, but we certainly can see a clear path to progress.
Your niche seems to be in what you regard as sort of quality areas.
Yes, yes. And this current economic environment is very interesting. I mean, it's negative in a lot of ways, and I think looking at the doctors going to strike, the nurses' information today that they're dissatisfied with the initial offer from the government. It's a reminder that there's genuinely a crisis in the UK in terms of cost of living. What happens with that is that the big banks react as big banks always do. They pull themselves in, pull the horns in, and make it more difficult to get credit. For small banks like us, it means that we get better counterparties we wouldn't normally see, but we've got no pressure on yield. So that's a good environment for us to be operating within.
So basically, almost like the worse things get, the better quality business you'll get, or you hope you'll get.
Well, that's a bit. I mean, it's a summary of what we do. But if you actually look at the products we have, the whole point of the products is the products which are trying to aid the customer through this cost of living crisis. And those products include, I'll talk about payment assist again. A typical payment assist product is a 4-month product. So you go in, your car gets a service. Unsurprisingly, it needs 4 new tyres. They cost £1,000. You pay 250 quid to get to take the car away. Then the next 3 months, you pay 250 quid. Interest free. That's a great facility for the customers. The garage then gives payment assistant a discount on his invoice. And what the garage gets out of that is it gets the money up front. It takes no credit risk. The credit risk rests where a credit risk should rest, which is with the funder. And the customer is dealt with brilliantly because they're paying no interest on an unexpected bill.
I said earlier on that nobody likes insurance companies. I suppose nobody likes banks either. Are you trying to be a sort of a friendly person in the market?
Well, the genesis of the group is a bank called Clonister Bank, which was formed in 1935 on the Isle of Man. So we're 90 years old, and we're a community bank. And the point of being a community bank is you're there through the good and the bad. And so you've got to make sure you've got products that resonate with the consumers during the bad times, because that's what will keep them as your customer during the good times.
Well, on that very upbeat note, Douglas Grant, CEO of Manx Financial, thank you very much indeed.
And nice talking to you, Zach. Thank you.